sometimes we're told as comedians we're only gonna be funny if everything is terrible and always bad and this and that, and we have to live this type of lifestyle and this and that.
Or crazy.
Yeah, I'm happy. I was literally editing my last special right now, and I'm like, dang, do I title this the Happy Special? Because I just look happier.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of my favorite specials because it's really funny and it's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting because I've been looking at like old footage of myself too, of just like when I first started. And it's almost combining energies, right? Because I'll be 45 and I'm a lot more chill than I was in the beginning. I was hype and I wanted to crush every time. Like now I don't know if I even think about it for real. It happens.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm going out here to crush.
Right.
I'm really like, let me just have a good time. And hopefully y'all along for the ride.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I remember in the beginning it was just about crushing.
Yeah.
That's all I thought about.
I think that I go through the same thing. And I don't fault the younger version because you kind of had to be that way to get to where you are now. Like you have to be, you're young and you're energetic, but you're also, pretty aggressive and you're hoping you get to stick around. So you've got to fight really hard and do all the things you got to do. So it's like.
But do you see, this was part of my therapy session. Yes, I go to therapy.
How long have you been going?
Man, it's been a couple years now, and
Okay.
it's consistent, and my therapist is amazing. But that's funny you say that. It's like, but I don't know if you can stay like that.
No.
I see a lot of my friends they're still in that mindset in a crazy way, and it's like you can't do that. Because it doesn't even make sense once you've accomplished things, you've done some things to still sit in this. To carry I'm still competing with young comics.
Yeah.
I can't compete with that hunger. That's just a different.
No.
That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense, but also you're wiser. I always, and it sounds like an arrogant analogy, but I think all comics when you kind of developed your craft and you got to a certain age and you've done some things and now you're approaching it a different way, you're working smarter. You're kind of like when Jordan was all of a sudden, people were like, why isn't he running back and forth? It's like, he knows what he's doing now.
Know what he's doing.
He's conserving his energy. And when it's time to really explode, he's going to explode. But he's wiser now. And I really see with my comic friends who've gotten a little older and stayed in the game, they just work smarter. They're not boozing. They're taking care of their life. And they approach their act with a different sense.
We lost a lot of funny people because of the lifestyle.
I know.
And I think that's a quiet thing sometimes we don't talk about as a collective as comics. I mean, I just did a comedy festival I put together in Chicago.
Yeah.
And one of the panels was just a mental health panel at a comedy festival.
It's great.
And it's great to have that. I think, and it was so... I wish it would have been a bigger turnout, but the comics that were there, though, man, they left just. It was tears in the room. Actually, it was kind of deep. I was surprised that we actually went there, but I did that because I'm like, I so many comedians that want to have these conversations and it's a little embarrassed about it, or we joke around it.
Yeah.
But man, I've lost some really good friends.
I know.
From
Comedians?
Comedians, man.
Who's in your top list of dead comedians? I've got mine.
That I miss. Kevin Barnett, one of my really good friends. I think about him all the time. I've been thinking about him a lot lately, actually. I think more or less kind of being on his journey.
Why now?
Well, first of all, I miss talking to him about my creative stuff.
Right.
You have people you can call where have good ideas and you throw an idea. So I really been missing that.
Yeah.
I think I miss that our friend group, I don't know if we have recovered from that loss. We're all doing well and doing things, but we were all really tight. And sometimes losses like that, everybody kind of goes in their corner to deal with it in a way.
Yeah.
And so I miss a lot of them, actually. I miss them a lot.
Don't you always think, like, when things happen like in culturally, like, of what they would have said about it, like,
God.
in their act, like Patrice in New York, it was Patrice and my good friend Greg Giraldo. And I think Greg would have been in such a position now, like he would be the host of The Daily Show. Like he was so smart, and when all of this stuff happens, I was like, oh, I just constantly walk around like, what would Greg say? like what would he be thinking?
I love that you see that too. That's another thing I think I go through with Kevin is that I know spaces where he would have dominated. I'd be like, yo, this dude would be just seeing the success for other people and stuff. Like, oh, this person would have been amazing. Because it's crazy that like we think about people like Patrice and even Greg. This would have been a great time for that style of comedy.
Yeah.
That honesty. It'd have been funny watching them become the mainstream.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what we've seen happen.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
It would have been really interesting. I think about that a lot,
Yeah,
actually.
they would have matured into the role now of the thoughtful commentator on this stuff and make sense of it all for us. You know,
when I saw D.L. Hughley become that, like who would have ever thought that he would be this political?
I swear to you, I go to D.L. Hughley for my news.
Yeah.
That's my news source. Before I go to the New York Times, before I go to anything else, I'm like, what is D.L. saying today? What do I have to keep my eye on today? But he, thoughtful, smart take on everything.
And it's crazy because this guy was D.L. was the guy. He hosted the first year of Comic View, and all he did was roast people. His whole best of Comic View is just destroying people.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy too, because even when I think about that, I'm like, wow, he was a crowd work guy too.
Yeah.
Who he didn't even blow up from that.
No.
That was just one of his skill sets.
Yeah.
That was a part of being a comic, which is very interesting. It's funny seeing that comedy has been able to break into these different categories.
I know.
And at one time, you just had to know how to do all of that.
Yeah, I know. It's becoming like music now. Like it's really like there's these specific lanes now.
Yeah.
Of all of it. It's great, but I do miss the universality of it. Like you can know somebody that you love, and it's like, how do you guys not know who this is? You know what I mean? They're selling a lot of big things.
Yeah.
How's it changed for you? So your last special was super funny.
Thank you.
And then so where'd you shoot this one?
I shot it in Chicago again.
Okay.
It was the last show of our festival. So my special taping was the closeout show, which is hopefully it was really. I mean, look, and I've been anxious to talk about what this festival was, but it was one of the. I've done a lot in my career. One of the greatest accomplishments I've ever pulled off was doing a 7-day comedy festival in Chicago.
Where'd you get the idea? What happened?
My old manager, shout out to Knowledge Beckham, and my partner, he came to LA to visit, and we went to just have, hang out and just talk. And he was like, yo, think about doing a comedy festival. But then he was going to do it like some of these promoters have been doing, where they've been doing like these fake festivals. They call it the festival, but it's just 2 shows.
Yeah. Right.
Because, the Netflix is a joke thing. Promoters can't wait to jump on something that,
That's hot.
And so it was kind of like what he was going to do. And I'm like, no, dude, if you're going to do this, like, do this and let me be a partner. Bring in a comedian to help partner with you, because nobody's ever done that. Nobody's ever really asked us to partner with them. They want to book us.
Right.
But who's asked us to partner with us? So it's like, please let me bring my expertise and let me bring to this festival like everything I've always wanted out of a festival.
That's great. It's so bizarre that that's a new idea. Right?
You know what? It's so funny because I've been having these conversations about even just like, because now I have this big dream. Like after this festival was successful, and it's still, I'm so proud and so happy that we put it all. We had a great team.
How long did it take you to put it all together?
90 days.
What?
That was it.
That's it?
It felt like, let me tell you something, 90 days to put this together. Our first year felt like year 4.
Right.
That's how organized and great it felt.
Jeez.
And it's because
good partners?
All the comedians bought in. We had a great team, because Knowledge is who's my business partner, but he's so good at putting teams together because he's a good businessman.
Yeah.
And then like even he didn't every ideal I had that seemed kind of crazy or far-fetched, we figured it out. And then we had these, we volunteers.
Yeah.
People who just love comedy.
That's great.
Were so great at helping us get all this stuff done.
That's so great.
Crazy. So
wow. How many comics?
64.
Nice.
64 comedians from all over the country. Most of them Chicago, like 70%, 75% Chicago comics, which was great. That's why I wanted to do it there too, because we have the plethora of comedians there. I also, I wanted to do something where honestly, the black comics were in the forefront of it. A lot of these festivals, they kind of usually give us like a few of the little shows and
the urban show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like I wanted, without saying it, that is what we did. And it just was.
That's great.
It was like doing stuff, we did stuff at the Laugh Factory, but then we had stuff at the Hood. It was and it was all sold out, packed, the audience and I've never seen comics it was so much love. It almost made me uncomfortable. How happy everybody was.
Yeah, maybe let's turn down the joy a little.
Come on, why is everybody so happy? And it was people who weren't getting along maybe a week before that. It was beautiful. Everybody was supportive of each other.
And you sold all these shows in 90 days?
90 days.
Jeez.
And then I was able to close out doing my special that I co-directed and produced and, self-financed with
Where'd you do that?
At the DuSable Museum. So the DuSable Museum, which is a black museum in Chicago on the South Side, they also have a theater in there. That was actually one of the first places that let me headline.
Oh, really?
Years ago, yeah. And so it was a full circle moment to do it there. And we did our main shows on the weekend there. My friend Sherry Shepard did her show on Love.
Yeah.
Like she called me and said, whatever you need me to do, I'm coming for free.
Oh, that's great.
So just pay for my makeup artist.
Yeah.
My hotel. But she was great. She came in, rocked out. It was that
so
thing.
Great.
And so many comedians just showed up along with it. Was just I can't even describe it.
So what did that do to your head when you're walking out there to do your special? Like after it's one thing to roll into a town or just a night and do your thing, but to have that week, that cresting
and I didn't go up
wave.
at none of the other shows.
No,
I just went on. I went on stage to thank everybody and stuff like that. But I didn't
you're
perform.
feeling this. You're feeling the positivity of it.
It was the most beautiful. I was so inspired by all the other comedians.
Yeah.
It was. Some, how you have your brain is like, okay, I want to do something with good intentions, and that was one of the things I said on one of the panels. Is like, I think people think it's weird that you can't make money from doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That you can only just be evil.
I know.
And make a profit. But you can have good intentions and make money.